This is super rusty metal, and we're gonna spray paint it anyway. Rust Encapsulator Plus has been in our line for over 10 years now, and customers absolutely love it. But the one thing they kept asking for was more colors. Black was a great seller, people loved it, but you wanted red, white, and gray. Well, guess what? Now we have them, and we even brought them in aerosols. Today, I'm gonna show you how easy it is to take something that looks like this and make it look brand new using a few cans of paint and maybe an hour of your time. Let's jump in and make this hoe look brand new. If at any point during this video you want more information, go ahead, look in the description. There's a link to all these products. All right, let's see how quickly this bad boy comes apart. I think this has been sitting in Cody's field for about a century. All right, that might be apart enough for the needs of this video. This is a tractor plow Cody gave us. It's going right back on his tractor when we're done with it, so I don't think we need to get every single bolt out. So from here, we're gonna move on to the cleaning process. One thing I wanted to point out is whenever you're working with hardware and you got threads, it's always a good idea to make sure you clean the threads off. You don't just wanna paint over rusty threads on bolts. It's gonna make screwing it back into your part a pain in the butt. So for that, we're actually gonna use Fast Edge. We'll show you that real quick too. One of the reasons I like Fast Edge so much is because it's gonna work while we're doing other stuff. So for our purpose, I'm actually just gonna put all the hardware into a bucket and submerge it. But one of the other ways I like to use Fast Edge, if you're painting a car and you have big panels, maybe it's an older car, you might have some pitting or some rust left on the hood or body panel or whatever. Fast Edge is a great thing to spray over it. You're gonna let it work in. It just makes sure that you're not gonna have any rust come back when you finish your paint job. Again, for our purpose here, we're just gonna submerge it. So let's go ahead, grab our bucket, throw our hardware in, and then we're just gonna dump everything in. All right, so we're gonna let this sit for a little bit. You can see it bubbling down there. That's the phosphoric acid reacting with the rust. Let that go for a couple of hours, and you are gonna have some hardware that is near ready to use. We're gonna go ahead, work on our tractor parts. We'll come back in a little bit and check it out. I can't stress this enough. The best part about Rust Encapsulator is that you don't need perfectly clean metal. If you were doing this with an epoxy primer, you wanted to spray this with that, that's fine, it's all good, but you need to blast it. You need to remove every last bit of rust or it's gonna come back through. With Rust Encapsulator, it's gonna stop the spread and it's not gonna allow it to come back through. And for any of you DIYers at home, it makes it really easy to apply. So we're gonna take our wire brush and we're gonna start knocking down the loose rust. That's it. That's pretty much the end of the prep. So I'll show you what we're doing here. I'm just gonna give you guys a couple notes along the way. Something like this, it is clearly rusty metal, but it's not flaking off, it's not super bad. All I'm doing is grabbing the brush and hitting it real quick, just making sure we give it, a little abrasion. This is the stuff right here where you really wanna make sure that you're knocking any of the loose stuff off because you don't want that falling off and then exposing bare metal again. And it's gonna start the whole process over. Making sure you're getting all sides. All right, so one of the things you're gonna come across whenever you're working with rusty metal is usually there's gonna be some remnants of a previously painted surface. Now, Rust Encapsulator Plus can be sprayed directly over that. The only thing I wanna mention is you gotta make sure that one, the paint is not falling off. If it's falling off, we treat it like anything else. You just knock it over with your wire brush. If it is holding on pretty tight there, just make sure you abrade the surface really well. So I'm gonna use my wire brush and make sure I'm really hitting an X pattern over it, really put some tooth in it, make sure that Rust Encapsulator sticks. I'm pretty good on that. All right, now we're just gonna clean everything down. We're gonna spray it with pre-painting prep. Remember, the key to this is to spray it like you didn't pay for it. So, one by one, let's get our pieces clean. All right, so one thing you want to do is just continuously wipe your rag until it comes out near clean. You're always wiping rust with like a pre-painting prep. It's going to come off just a tad bit dirty, but get it as good as you possibly can. That'll ensure the best adhesion possible. Little tech tip for you. When you're spraying pre-painting prep and you're using a wire brush and you're knocking a bunch of rust loose, especially if you're like under a car, you're gonna have rust and pre-painting prep or acetone or whatever in all these little corners. Make sure you grab an air hose. If not, that pre-painting prep or rust is gonna fall out on you later and possibly ruin your paint job. So always a little bit of extra precaution here. All right, so all of our parts, wire brushed them, sprayed with pre-painting prep. There's nothing left but to go ahead and spray them. So we're gonna get these hung up and we'll show you how easy it is to make them look brand new. All right, next up we are spraying. We're starting off with Rust Encapsulator Plus Safety Gray. We're actually gonna do all three colors. That's why all the parts aren't up here. So first off, one of our most popular is the gray. It is quite literally shake it until it's all mixed. The stuff is a little thick, so you want to make sure that you're shaking it for a good couple minutes. Once you're done that, then you can go ahead and spray. So let's get to shaking, and then we'll show you how good this applies. Now black, gray, and red will all cover in one coat. White, however, it'll definitely need 2 coats for full coverage. Now this is how it's looking after one. So we give it about 15 minutes and then come back to finish this part. And my personal favorite, red oxide. So all these things are looking really good already. Now we gotta let it dry for a couple more hours before we even consider putting it back together. But while this is drying, I wanted to talk about what makes this stuff so great. So number one, in my opinion, is it is just easy to apply. Being able to knock off rust, come in and spray it within an hour, if you were doing anything that you needed to strip down to bare metal, you know how time consuming that can be, and not everybody has that much time. So being easy to apply for the DIYer, it's the most important thing. Number two, it has some good heat resistance to it. So this is actually heat resistant up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, what does that mean? You're not gonna be able to put this on the outside of a fire pit. However, pretty much anything on a car, you can apply this onto and it's gonna hold up for a very long time. Now, speaking of applying on a car, so if you were gonna apply Rust Encapsulator Plus to the underside of your vehicle, right, somewhere where there's not a lot of light, that's totally fine. You can apply this stuff, nothing else, no top coat needed. If you were gonna apply this to anything that's gonna be exposed to direct sunlight, we recommend, generally speaking, that you put on a top coat. However, let me put a little caveat to that. This stuff is not gonna disintegrate. It's not gonna fall apart if it's exposed to UV. it's just gonna chalk up. So if you got the black or if you got the white and it has a little bit of gloss to it, if you put it outside, it's just gonna fade a little bit. Something like this, tractor parts, that might be totally fine. Especially the red oxide. If you wanna spray your rat rod in it, it's just gonna chalk up. It's gonna look old school. It's kinda gonna look weathered anyway. Not a problem, go for it. If you do wanna top coat this, grab a can of your favorite high quality coating. We use Chassis Black a lot or any of our 2K air sprays. Come back, apply over it. It'll make your parts look great. So while this stuff is drying, let's go back, check out the fast etch and all that hardware. Let's get that ready to go. And then once everything is dried up, we'll put it back together and show you what it looks like. All right, so as you can tell by the color of the fast etch here, I think this stuff worked. If there's any rust left on here at all, I'd be surprised. Normally, I'd probably leave this overnight just to give it extra time to work. Today, we don't have that luxury. We're in a bit of a time crunch, and that's one of the great things about working with fast etch and Rust Encapsulator Plus is it all goes really fast. So let's take it out and see what it looks like. Oh yeah. So as you can see, we really just have like trace amounts of rust left. So we're gonna hit it with the wire brush, make sure any of the crud gets out of the threads, and then we'll just hit these real quick with the Rust Encapsulator to make everything match. But I'm pretty happy with that. So this stuff really did get most of the crud off at this point. All we are doing is just trying to knock off any of the loose rust, but anything that is on there can just get covered by the Rust Encapsulator. I just really didn't want any crud inside the threads if I could help it, and it looked like this did the job for most of that. Now we can go ahead and neutralize it with our pre-painting prep. And I'll come back here with another rag and dry it all off. You can even add a nice little touch with all this hardware. We'll spray some black, nice little contrast against the red, the white, and the gray. And we'll even get to show you some trial size cans. So if you want to try out Rust Encapsulator Plus, maybe you're not sure of the product and you want to give it a shot, but you don't want to spend money on an entire can, we have little sizes. I'll show you that when we spray it. All right, let those dry and then we'll clean them up. This is our normal size can, so much smaller, much more economical, and if you have small projects, it works great. So we'll do these hardware real quick. It's got all the same great qualities, by the way. Everything you love about the regular stuff, just in a small can. All right, with these all dry, we're gonna go ahead and reassemble. All right guys, in just a couple hours, everything is painted, it's put back together, and while it might be a very colorful version of like a tractor plow, you know, it looks good, and that's what we're going for today. So Rust Encapsulator is awesome for automotive projects. We've showed you tons of examples, but Rust Encapsulator can really be used on anything that rusts. Patio furniture, Bilco doors, rusty fences, you name it, if it rusts, you can apply it. As always, if you want more technical information or how to order, head over to eastwood.com.